Hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. In the last episode, we were telling our friend here that we cleared out the Lowtown gang, and as I mentioned at the end of last episode, or at least I hope I mentioned this, we are going to check out the Black Emporium very quickly. There's nothing really that I want to buy, but there are codex entries there for us to look at. Now, I did miss out on some codex entries in Act 2. To be brutally honest, I always forget that the Black Emporium exists just because there are no quests here and there isn't anything that I'm really interested in purchasing. So I am going to insert the Act 2 codex entries that we missed right here. The Basket of Lost Socks. In my career as first enchanter of the Circle of Arnsberg, I have lost 208 socks of various and sundry description. Utterly. Without a trace. Sir Malaric, the Templar who supervises the Circle's laundry rooms, assures me that this is a common, natural phenomenon. Hogwash, I say! It is physically impossible for an article of the material world to vanish completely and leave no signs of its passage. The only rational explanation, therefore, must be that the disappearances are magical in origin. This, I hope, will be the definitive treatise on the subject. I set upon my research with the following premise. Since it is a well-known fact that objects of worldly origin cannot travel between places on Thedas without crossing the intervening distance, then socks must originate in the Fade itself. They are emanations of some spirit projected into the waking world and whimsically recalled when the spirit desires. I, therefore, devised a plan to observe my socks over a period of 8 months. I hid within a sock blind so that I might catch them unawares, both in the physical realm and in the Fade, and hopefully witness their natural behaviour firsthand. From The Interplay of Spirits in the Common Laundry Room by First Enchanter Ludwig of Arnsberg. Crate of Live Deathwatch Beetles. The loud tapping sound of the Deathwatch beetle is widely believed to foretell a death in the household. In Navarra, the beetle is prized. Households sometimes keep one in a small cage for good luck. However, the Ravani consider them to be an extremely ill omen and kill the beetles on sight. The strangest reaction to the Deathwatch beetle, however, happened in Valreo in 862 Blessed. Upon the death of her husband after a long illness, Lady Iveline Fernande took to the beetles. So much that she commissioned a dark silken gown patterned after its distinctive appearance, right down to the legs and wings. Her arrival at the royal court in this ensemble sent a stir throughout the empire. Within a week, every dowager in Orlais was wearing beetle brooches, beetle masks, and capes evoking beetle wings. The sensation finally came to an end when the widow of Lord Verschin appeared at the ball with live Deathwatch beetles in her hair. One fell onto the Emperor while he was greeting Lady Verschin, and his Imperial Majesty's scream could clearly be heard on the outskirts of the city. The horrified Emperor declared that never again were the creatures to appear in his sight. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genitivi. Velvet Calen. The Velvet Calen is a portrait of the late King Calen of Ferelden, painted on luminescent velvet. According to rumour, King Calen commissioned a large number of these paintings. The portraits were distributed to stores around Denerim shortly after his coronation, and the king received a portion of the profits from each sale. The coin funded his ever-growing kennel of Mabari war dogs. Art patrons throughout Thedas find the Velvet Calen singularly revolting. As part of her ongoing mission to rid Thedas of their ghastly influence, Orlesian art collector Blanchette de Lameau is offering a reward for every Velvet Calen brought to her. Mistress de Lameau has publicly derided the paintings and has been quoted as saying, "I despise furry art." Excerpt from the Hightown newsletter Artists Quarterly. Okie doke, now let's see what we have for Act 3. The Emergent Compendium. Oh, this is a good one. This is one of my favourites.
The fellow asked, why make a shop so hard to find? Me? Really? He just has no concept.
Dane! As in Dane and the werewolf, the guy that we named our dog after. That's very interesting. Okay. The Emergent Compendium. Messer Davies, you said that a scholar's life is not for everyone. Now I understand. I couldn't be more frustrated by the marvel I have sent you. Chief among its Pretavinter strangeness, the volumes are automatos. New entries appear of their own accord with no scrivener's quill in sight. When a mage consultant says it's impossible, but your own eyes see it happen, and often, it's clearly a wonder. But the content? Each new edition is a single image created unseen, accompanied by a line of gibberish. And what bogglers these imitari! Records of the mundane and the fantastic, with no rhythm or weight. I have observed a dragon in flight, a man in regal robes but of a complexion I have never seen, countless peoples at the moment of death, and no end of devices I cannot fathom in the least. The only image remotely familiar was extremely so, mine own wife. But the babble of the legend gave no hint to the significance, and that volume has since vanished. I cannot imagine the purpose or the library that could hold what has surely been accumulated. It would be as though transcribing the individual birds of a flock twittering about you. A dozen images appeared as I wrote this, and by the time you hold this, they will be lost in 1,000 more. To be granted the world at once, both intimate and distant, is almost unbearable. I know so much is there, but can never know it myself. It makes one feel very small indeed. The newest pages. A newborn of Ravani complexion, subtitled something. A hornless kunari with tightly braided hair, subtitled My wife again, subtitled da-da-da-da-da. Two shadowed spheres among stars, subtitled Nah. The notes of scholar Baudelaire on the Emergent Compendium in the original tongue, author unknown. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. I love codes. I love ciphers and code breaking, and if I'm remembering correctly, this is a pretty standard Caesar shift, which means you simply shift the alphabet however many spaces left or right. It's a bog standard cipher, very easy to decrypt. Now, I am going to insert the translations and what they mean, and I'm probably going to discuss that right here. Okay, so here are the translations. A newborn of Ravani complexion, subtitled Not He. I have no clue what this is referring to, I'm afraid. This could be one of the mundane entries the guy said the book would occasionally throw out, but I'm not too sure. A hornless kunari with tightly braided hair, subtitled The Envoy Lied Honestly. I'm pretty sure this is referring to Sten in Dragon Age Origins. I would put money on this being about Sten. My wife again, subtitled Post-Coitus. Her husband a fool. The poor guy. His wife is cheating on him and the book is trying to tell him. And then the last one, the most interesting one. Two shadowed spheres among stars, subtitled An Eclipse as Fen Harel Stirred. This to me says, or at least how I interpret it, is that this is the year that Fen Harel awoke. He doesn't actually specify when he woke up in Inquisition. He does say that he tried to connect with the Dalish for a couple of years, but that's really about it. So I think that this year, whatever this year is in game, this is when he woke up. Or at least that is my take, at least. Lots of editing for future Callista, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this kind of thing. What else do we have? Broken dowsing rods. No refunds. There have been several Chantry investigations to determine whether the dowser's art is magical in nature, but nothing conclusive has ever been determined. In 386 Towers, Divine Joyous II declared that the practice of dowsing was freely permitted by the Chantry on the grounds that dowsers never attempted to use their skills for nefarious purposes. A brief theological debate ensued over what sort of nefarious purposes a dowser might have. The worst possible dowsing-related crime suggested by Grand Cleric Wilhelmina of Hosburg was that they might go looking for poisonous worms which could be left in the Chantry offertory. The Chantry agreed that this, while unacceptable, was a relatively mild threat. From Of Fires, Circles and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. What nefarious people those dowsers are. Chest of Unanswered Invitations. In a peculiar shop in Kirkwall, a large chest sits, filled with letters and cards. Upon closer inspection, each is an invitation. Events of every possible description are represented. Grand balls held in the palace at Valroyo, the wedding of the reigning King and Queen of Navarra, countless naming day parties, the Chantry's solstice celebrations for 6 consecutive years in Cumberland, 5 different versions of the invitation to the funeral of Sir Roland Ferrara dated 5 years apart, ship naming ceremonies, quickly penned notes suggesting business lunches, one signed in blood, several invitations to duels sent between the same 2 families in Antiva City over a period of 40 years, 19 letters from members of the Dwarven Merchants Guild addressed to Varric Tethras of Kirkwall, asking him to attend critical guild meetings. 1 very fine embossed card, yellowing with age, from the Grand Cathedral inviting the King of Antiva to tea with Divine Theodosia II. Given their current location, it seems unlikely any of these invitations were answered by their intended recipients, and less likely that they were ever received at all. Would anyone buy such things? I can hardly imagine. From the letters of Brother Ferdinand Genitivi to Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. Very interesting. Hello! The box of screaming is still here. Oh, I love the box of screaming. Let's make it do it again. Do it again. If I could buy this and put it in the hawk estate, I would. The box of screaming fills me with such joy. Now then, I do believe that is everything. Okay, thank you, Xenon. Have a nice day, if that is possible for you. Now then, what are we doing next? Apparently... Okay, according to my notes, I want to go to the alienage during the day. Then I want to swap out my party, and then I'm going to do the Hightown gang. There we go. That's the plan. Now then, the alienage is this way. Because there should be a cutscene here. There should be, at least. Hello? Cutscene. Cutscene, I would like you to appear. Please. There we go.
Champion? It's Leah. Do you remember me? You saved me from that murderer when I was a kid. Sorry, Captain. I don't mean to.
Not at all. Go on.
I wanted to say thank you. I wasn't thinking straight the day you saved me. That monster deserved what he got. Captain?
Dismissed. She joined the Guard a few months back. She's got a good understanding of what we're up against.
I love that. I really took to Leah, and And I know that probably sounds incredibly stupid. I mean, she was on screen for what, like 2 minutes? But I really love her...
Your husband agrees with me.
About what?
He thinks the Knight Commander's mad. He told me she's gone behind your back to investigate guardsmen she suspects as secret mages.
Even if that were true, he wouldn't tell you.
He won't fight for her when the time comes. Would you turn against your own husband?
I don't know if you're lying or crazy.
One, Anders, how dare you interrupt me? Two, don't involve yourself in Aveline's marriage. Don't put the cat amongst the pigeons like that, dude. What was I saying? Yeah, I really like Leah's story arc of she gets kidnapped and then she gets saved and she learns that, you know what, I'll never get kidnapped again. I'm gonna learn how to use a sword, then I'm gonna join the guardsmen. And then anyone that tries to kidnap me can get stabbed. I'm like, oh, Leah, I love you. I love you so much. Now then, banter. More banter, please.
Yes?
Is it like you thought? It's nice, isn't it? He seems nice.
Yes, he's very nice.
I know, and you're so cute when you're with him. Not like normal you at all.
Haven't you got something unholy to do?
No, we're following Hawk. That's important too.
But not necessarily unholy? Meryl, what do you mean by that? Meryl, please, what do you mean by that? Why is following us not considered unholy? That's bad juju. You know what, Meryl? You can go home. You can go home. Everything is fine. Who do I want? Varric, Isabella, and Fenris. We're gonna journey with them for a little while. Ooh, everyone has levels. Varric, buddy. Yeah, let's go all 3 into cunning, and then we can start doing 2 dexterity, 1 cunning next level. There we go. And I know I'm going into this with Varric because here's the thing, nothing else really suits him, and this tree, it does suit his skill set in Inquisition. I can't remember what his specialization is called, but he's basically like a little alchemist. Like, he has like tinkering shit and traps, and this kind of fits that the best, but he doesn't really need rush. Let's be honest, he's ranged. What does he need rush for? But, you know, fatiguing, fog, and confusion, they're pretty good. They seem alright. Oh god, why was your cunning so low when we picked you up, Isabella? You can have that. There you go, and you want that. And we were going into Vanguard with you. Yeah, Vanguard. And you don't get anything. Alrighty then, to Hightown at night. Time to clear out the final gang. Now then, I am gonna kind of apologize in advance if I'm a little bit scatterbrained with combat. I'm in kind of a, how do I want to word this? I'm in kind of a funky mood right now. I've been thinking about how to describe this. I think the best word is hollow. I don't feel overly sad or angry or anything like that, but basically something has happened. It's not awful. Let me state that right now. It's not a really bad thing. In fact, it's actually a good thing. I've received good news. It's just when connected to something else, it kind of makes me go, oh, what was the point of that then? I've spoken about this before. Pre-COVID, I used to volunteer at a library, and last May, I got a rather unpleasant email, basically saying that, that with the coronavirus occurring, we're shutting down the volunteering program, and that in and of itself was fine. But then it finished off with, and when the volunteering program reopens, people with adult learning disabilities will not be asked to return. And that email, it greatly upset me. It greatly upset me because it was very unprofessional. It was unprofessional and it was insensitive. You know, just, oh, and by the way, people with adult learning disabilities, you're not welcome. Like, that's... If I were wording that, that is not how I would fucking word it. And as I said, I was very upset by this. And recently, I received another email from the volunteer program, basically saying, "Hey, do you want to come and be a volunteer again?" And I was very surprised by this. I responded basically saying that, you know, yes, I would, but I'm rather surprised to hear from you because I was basically, also I should mention, the volunteer coordinator has changed. I noticed that. It's not the same person as it was before. So, you know, I introduced myself, said, "Hi, it's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. I'm rather surprised to hear from you because the last I heard from the previous volunteer coordinator, people with adult learning disabilities were no longer welcome in the volunteer program. And is this policy still in effect? Has it been scrapped?" Because to be brutally honest, what I kind of thought the response was going to be was, "Oh, I didn't realize you had a disability, and we can't offer you a place." And yeah, I'm kind of a cynic. What could I say? I was not optimistic about this. I had such a bad experience with what happened last year. It did kind of put me in like a this isn't going to go well sort of mood. And the email I received, you know, in response to my, like, what's going on with this? I have an adult learning disability. Is this going to be an issue? And move Amelia. There we go. Ooh, Nelly. Let's do a revival and heal. There we go. Now, you can get lost. Please, you are far too close to my home. I have not given you permission to be on my property, sir. And, ooh, where are you teleporting to? Where are you going? He's over there. Get him. Varric, don't come to me. Just attack the guy. Isabella! The same goes for you. Just attack this guy. No, that's not what I meant to do. Yeah, I'll continue on with what I was saying after this. Okay. Amelia, go forward and keep on him. Haste it up. I'll deal with this. Ooh, Isabella's looking a bit low, but... what am I saying? I have a heal. Heal her. Take him out. And you know what? Summon the dog. Oh, that was a bit late. Whoops. Red Run Streets. Directions to the Crimson Weaver's base. Blood will be our salvation in this new home. Hightown is ours, beginning in the lair. Know it and know you belong. The Bleeder. Oof. Madam, are you okay? You alright? That was a weird death, but fuck it. What was I saying? Yes, I received a pretty prompt response from the new volunteer coordinator, and it was a very nice email, surprisingly so. And he effectively said, again, I feel like I'm complaining about nothing. I do apologize about that. Effectively, what he said was, I'm not entirely sure why the previous volunteer coordinator sent you that email, but if I had to guess, it would be that people with adult learning disabilities were temporarily not being asked back because we wanted to protect our paid employees who are in the vulnerable category. However, this policy, you know, it's not in effect. We are very happy to have people with adult learning disabilities, and if you want to know more about how we're gonna protect you, you know, whilst you're working in our libraries, please email me. As I said, a very nice email. It was very polite and conscientious and professional, which was not what the one last May was. Who says that? Oh, by the way, people with adult learning disabilities aren't going to be asked back. No rhyme or reason given. I'm still pissed off about that. I apologize. So, why do I feel upset? Why has that upset me? It's when I received the email last year. As I said, I found it distressing. I found it... Oh, Jakeson the Bleeder Hall, who is currently invisible. Let's see when he comes back. Go. Paste it up. And... Oh, you're back. Okay. Let me focus on this for a minute, guys. Go. And as soon as I can re-summon Puppy, I will. There we go. Oh, he's... Oh, I'd rather take him out. Sorry, Isabella, but there we go. And bugger off. Now then, revive. There we go. And regroup. Lovely jubbly. There we go. We've got this. And come on down, Dane. No. How dare you? Bugger off. There we go. Hit me. Okay, you. Who am I attacking? You? Oh god, they've all clumped in the doorway. Come on, this way. Everyone's still alright for health. Now then, ooh, flipping heck, even more of them, Jesus. Now, bugger off. There we go. Okay, yeah, we've got this. So, what? Oh, shit, no, we don't. There are more mages. Oh, God, where? You. You hurt me. Okay. Oh, God, Isabella's down. Isabella's down. Paste it up. Back it up. Can we? Oh, I don't like this angle. There we go. Now then, let's see. The major cutters of the Crimson Weavers have been staunched. Yes. Now then, what was I saying? Yeah, so last year when I received the email, I found it distressing, and I know that probably sounds stupid. Oh, it was just an email. What's distressing about that? I guess for me, back when I was in secondary school, high school, whatever you want to call it, like, my character trait was the fact that I had a disability. And it wasn't treated nice. It was like, oh, that's Callista, she's retarded. And that's sort of how I was treated. And as a result of that, I'd like to think that over the years since, I've gotten rather good at masking myself. At sort of faking neurotypicality, you know, for want of a better word. And, you know, I like to think that, you know, if someone met me, they wouldn't necessarily be able to say, oh yeah, she obviously has something going on with her brain. I like to think that people would just be like, oh, what? She has a thing? I would much rather be known as like, oh, that's Callista, she's kind. That's Callista, she's kind of funny sometimes. That's Callista, she's creative. I don't want to be, oh, that's Callista, she's got an adult learning disability. And that's how that email made me feel. And, oh God, I think I feel this. Whoops, I apologize. I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm a tad upset. My apologies. I think I sound like such a snowflake when I'm talking about this. I don't like that.
So you engaged a Kunari dreadnought in battle?
They engaged me in battle. I was just trying to get away. Sailing into the storm was a gamble. Took care of the dreadnought, but it did us in too. Can't win them all.
Where I come from, we would call that insanity.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Well said, Isabella. Well said. Yeah, so that's how that email made me feel. It kind of, because there was no rhyme or reason. There was no, this is why we're doing this. I just had to guess why they were doing this. And it kind of made me feel, well, what's the point in masking? What's the point in trying to put myself across in a certain way? Because clearly all I am is my brain wiring to these people. I am nothing more than the way my brain is wired, if that makes any kind of sense. And I was very disheartened by that. And so, again, it sounds stupid. I feel like I'm complaining about something good, and that doesn't make me feel great, but I guess it was the fact that, like, oh, well, this was probably done. One, it's like, oh, I'm not sure why you were sent that email. So this person they weren't authorized by the higher-ups. They did this off their own back, which is probably why the email sounded so unprofessional. Two, the reason why was perfectly reasonable. You know, we wanted to make sure our actual paid employees who were in the vulnerable category were safe. That is a perfectly reasonable, acceptable, thing to do. So why wasn't that in the original email? Why not say, we will not be asking anyone with an adult learning disability back because we want to ensure the safety of our paid employees? That's, no one's privacy is being infringed upon with that. It's not saying like they're saying, oh, we need to protect Rajesh from, this. Like, am I making sense? That could have been in the email, and I would have received it and been like, oh, logic and reason, a perfectly valid response, rather than just, oh, by the way, you aren't welcome. We're not going to say why. We're just going to say you aren't welcome here. I feel horrifically guilty because, like I said, this is a nice email. This is a good email. I can volunteer at a place that I loved again. But I think it kind of makes me feel like, what was so necessary about sending me that email last year? Why was my distress necessary in that case? Why not just say why? What was the point of sending out this deeply unprofessional and, as it turns out, unnecessary email? All of that distress I felt was unnecessary. I hope that made sense. I
removed another bunch of lowlifes. And many are grateful as always. I take my leave. Enjoy, champion. Courtesy of the Friends of Red Jenny.
Indeed! The Friends of Red Jenny, that name should sound familiar. We encountered them in Origins. If you recall, there was a painted box at the Circle of Magi, and we had to deliver it to Denerim. You go to this door, you hold up the box, someone takes it, you get some money, and then there's a sound of a child laughing. A lot of people were like, wait, what? What was this quest? And then you have this name drop in Dragon Age 2. I love it. And we will learn more about them in Dragon Age Inquisition. I've been saying that a lot in these episodes recently. Now then, you know what? I am going to stop the episode right here. I do apologize for kind of going on about, the library and the email and my feelings during this episode. I do apologize about that, but it's meaningful to me. It might not be meaningful to you. You might just have wanted to watch the episode. Sorry. Yeah, that's sort of what's been going on with me recently. In the next episode, we're going to see what the people in this back room want. We're going to finally do that. But Until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.